Hello innovators, and welcome back to another weekly review video where I look back what happened last week on my mission to empower 1 million people to innovate. Week number 60. Let's start off with podcasts. As usual, I did 3 podcasts last week. Number 1 was with Stacy Conlon, where we talked about mindfulness and the power of the mind inside innovation. Then I was meeting with Nast Marrero, where we talked about agile, the agility and innovation and the human factor of innovation. The third episode I recorded last week was around the XYZ playground, where I meet with Joshua and we look at the world from a reverse mentorship perspective. And there we announced that we will do another podcast. So we will separate the XYZ perspective into a separate podcast, which was basically a prototype we have been setting up from the beginning. And the podcast will be called the Reverse Mentor Lab. So check out the Reverse Mentor Lab coming out on all different media platforms around podcasts, and as well YouTube version of that. So check it out when it's coming out. We will of course announce it in great ways. What else? Stephen Brooks and Jens show, and another episode of the show where I, together with Stephen Brooks, look into how I can support him building an online course. We did a couple of videos already on that, so if you haven't seen them, there's a link here which is linking you to the other videos of them. Interesting conversation last week because we did a review of the insights he got from his first prototyping experimentation loop. So interesting conversation, interesting insights, which might as well applicable for you, for other projects, for other ways of thinking. Then, of course, as usual, as this is not the only thing I'm doing, I'm quite busy in a lot of other things, a lot of meetings, a lot of workshops, a lot of engagements, a lot of cool discussions and interesting people I was meeting, looking into how we can work together, how we can support companies. We looked into new podcast guests. I was talking to people who want to interview me, so a lot of things going on. If you happen to watch this video as a first timer, this video is all about my mission to empower 1 million people to innovate. If you're curious about what's going on, what is the background of that, what's the story, how do the other 15 weeks look like, all of that you can find on the 1millioninnovateurs.com website, which is a personal movement I have set out for 2021, engaging with as many as possible people around the world to create a movement towards innovating daily and moving companies and moving us towards creating a better world going forward. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening and see you again next week.